Hello, students, and welcome to our May 27th lesson. We will start by responding to our do now. Our discussion of the day is about saying you are sorry. Oops, did something wrong. Have to say sorry. Our objective will be to solve more word problems, and we're going to write and solve the equations that we work with. Our assignment will be to complete the page of word problems assigned below. And if you are finished, I have some extra activities. If you are an in-class learner, sorry about that, folks. If you are an in-class learner, we have tickets that you can earn. We'll get one for completing your do now within 5 minutes. Sorry, that G shouldn't be there. Within 5 minutes. One for finishing your assignment. And no phone, no drama, and kind words only. You get a ticket. And of course, we send everybody a virtual hug. So, here's our do now. Making amends, okay, means more than saying I'm sorry. It means doing something to restore the relationship. Let's get that relationship back to where it was or where it should be. How can you make amends for a hurt that you caused using social media? So maybe you need to use social media to make amends. Maybe just a sincere apology. Maybe you have to repair the relationship publicly. But whatever you think you should do, answer that right here, please. And I hope you never do anything you have to make amends for when it comes to social media. That's pretty bad. So let's look at these word problems. We're going to do 6 word problems today. So we're going to start with cans of soup, number 1. And cans of soup are on sale for $1.79 each. If Jack spent $25.06 on soup, how many cans did he buy? Now, some of you might think, well, let me just divide 25.06 by $1.79. And that's fine, but we want you to think algebraically. We want you to think in terms of a variable. So let's let X equal the number of cans. And so we're going to make our sentence, our math sentence here will be $1.79 times X, remember a number and a variable next to each other means multiplication, equals that total. See, these are the 2 important figures in our word problem. So the total is $25.06. So how do we solve this? Well, first we see that X is being multiplied by $1.79, and the inverse operation would be to divide by $1.79. Whatever you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other side. So $1.79 divided by $1.79 equals 1. So that leaves us with 1x. And if we can either use long division or we can use a calculator to do this portion on the right. And when we divide $25.06 by $1.79, we will get 14. Now let's think, this is a word problem. What exactly do they want to know? They want to know how many cans he bought. So we'll answer that exactly how they've asked it. So the answer would be 14 cans. Our next problem is about Carly, who beat the school record for the 400 meter by 1.3 seconds. If she ran the race in 55.7 seconds, what was her record? What was the record? So there was a record, then she beat it by 1.3 seconds. So she ran faster, which means a shorter amount of time. And the question is, what was the record? So here's the thing. You've got a couple of things I want to talk about. You have 3 numbers here, 400, 1.3, 55.7. Okay, the 400 refers to the type of race. That number is not important to our problem. Let's just think she ran a race. That's all we need to think about with that. Now, she ran it faster than someone else who held the record. And we want to find out what was the record. So we're going to have to let our x equal the previous record. So we can say the previous record, she went faster, which means a shorter amount of time. So the previous record minus 1.3 equals 55.7 seconds. So the previous record had to be longer. So let's solve this equation. What is happening to x? Well, 1.3 is being subtracted. So if I want to isolate x, I have to add 1.3, and whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side of this equation. So 1.3 minus 1.3, or negative 1.3 plus 1.3 equals 0. So what we are left with on this left side of the equation is x. And now we'll just subtract 1.3 from 55.7, and I'm sorry, we're adding 1.3 to 55.7, which gives us 57 seconds. So Carly's time was this short time, 55.7. The previous record, and we don't know who that was 57 seconds, which was longer. So the question was, what was the record? Well, we were working in seconds here. So the record was 57 seconds. Well, let's look at number 3, Mrs. Lincoln. Sounds like a teacher's name. Mrs. Lincoln has a bucket full of pencils that she would like to divide up equally. Divide up equally to her 28 students. If each student got 3 pencils, how many did she start with? So she has 28 students, and I know there are probably some of you that are about to make 28 circles and put 3 tick marks or dots in each one to see, and then count them up. But you know what, we're in pre-algebra now, so we're not going to do that. But there must be an algebra way for us to do that works, and that algebra way is as follows. We're going to let x equal the number of pencils that she started out with. And that's Mrs. Lincoln. Okay, so our math problem is going to be the 28 students multiplied by x divided by 3, because she wants to give each student 3 pencils. Okay, let's start with number 3. We've got Mrs. Lincoln, who has a bucket full of pencils that she would like to divide up equally to her 28 students. Now they're saying bucket full of pencils, so I have a feeling that's what they're going to ask us, how many are in that bucket. So if each student got 3 pencils, how many did she start out with? And indeed, that's what they want to know. So we have important numbers here. We've got 28 students, and they each get 3. Well, some of you are just going to multiply 28 by 3, but I want you to start thinking in terms of algebra. So we're going to let x equal the number of pencils she started out with. Well, that should be an N. Mrs. Lincoln began with. So our math problem will be the number she started out with divided by 28 equals 3, because they get 3 each. So what's happening to x? And what's happening is x is being divided by 28. The inverse operation to division is multiplication. So if we multiply by 28, we can isolate our x, but whatever we do to the right side, we need to do to the left side. So if we isolate x and multiply 28 by 3, we have x equals 84 pencils. And actually, I should rewrite that, 84 pencils, because that's what they're asking. How many pencils did she start with? She started with 84 pencils. Now, number 4, the library charges a fine each day that a book is late. If Ben repeatedly paid a $3.77 fine for a book that was 13 days late, or recently, if Ben recently paid a $3.77 fine for a book that was 13 days late, what was the daily fine? So we're going to let X equal the daily fine. Daily means each day. So we will say 13x, okay, if we have 13 days times a certain amount of money that I don't know what it is, equals the total that he paid, $3.77. So let's solve this. First of all, what is happening to x? X is being multiplied by 13. When we have a number and a variable next to each other, we're talking about multiplication. So I can use the inverse operation of division to isolate that x. So now with x isolated, I just have to solve the right side, which is $3.77 divided by 13. And I can use a calculator to help me, or I can use long division. But the answer is 0.29, which means each day the fine was 0.29. I can put a dollar sign, but it's 29 cents per day. And in number 5, Sydney is driving 245 miles to her parents' house for the weekend. If she has already driven 97 miles, how many more miles does she have to go? So we're going to let x equal the additional miles left. So our math problem will be x plus what she already drove, 97, equals 245. To solve this problem, we'll ask what is happening to x. 97 is being added. The inverse to addition is subtraction, so we can subtract 97 to isolate x, but whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. So now x is isolated on the left, and on the right, we see that 245 minus 97 is 148. But what did they ask us? How many more miles? So we'll answer in miles, 148 miles. And then finally, we have Jack, who rented a moving truck for 7 hours and paid $153.65. How much did it cost per hour? So the per hour charge is the amount that we're asking about. So we will let x equal the cost per hour. So we can say he rented it for 7 hours. We don't know how much it costs. So 7 times something equals $153.65. So we want to isolate x, which is being multiplied by 7. So we'll divide by 7, but whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. And that means that x equals $153.65 divided by 7, which is $21.95. $21.95. So the cost per hour is $21.95 per hour. And that's it for today. You can do some extra MobyMax. You could play with this quick draw tool, or we have a mindful game for you today. So keep working hard. This math takes a lot of practice. These word problems take a lot of practice, but we will keep doing that. And remember, always do your do now in teams. Always do your math work on paper and show it to the teacher when you are done. And if you keep doing that with lots of practice, you'll be great. Have a wonderful day.